the show where we dive straight into gameplay and give you our first impressions of the latest releases. Today, we're exploring the First Descendant, the newest entry into the free-to-play action world by Nexon. It's aiming to carve out a space among games like Warframe and Destiny with a fast-paced looter-shooter setup. Let's see if it really brings something fresh to the table or if it's just a rehash of familiar mechanics. So, what's the First Descendant all about? Right off the bat, you'll notice the influence of Warframe. You've got that same high-energy, cooperative style and character-driven gameplay, except here, frames are swapped for descendants. It's basically the same core concept, with characters who each have their own unique powers and traits. If you've played Warframe before, expect a similar feel here, with a few tweaks to keep things engaging. For new players, the First Descendant might be a little easier to jump into compared to Warframe or Destiny 2, which are dense with content and complex systems. This one feels a bit more streamlined and accessible, at least at the start. Still, it's packed with free-to-play staples. Various currencies, upgrade paths, and a bit of that in-your-face monetization style that Nexon is known for. Speaking of which, Nexon has a bit of a reputation for creative monetization tactics, even getting fined for misleading microtransactions in MapleStory. So, if you're wary of heavy in-game purchases, that's something to keep in mind. Now, as for gameplay, the First Descendant shines with its smooth, enjoyable shooting mechanics. The action feels tight, the weapons are satisfying, and the pacing keeps you moving. Missions are pretty short, which keeps things fresh, and they don't really drag, so you're unlikely to feel bogged down. There's a decent variety of guns here, plus you've got unique powers based on your character. You might shoot ice shards, create shields, or call in ammo drops, depending on your descendant. Overall, the gameplay is enjoyable and pretty accessible. The visuals in this game are something to behold. The First Descendant is gorgeous, with beautiful character designs and impressive cutscenes. Max out the settings and you're in for a real treat. However, while it looks amazing, it's hard to get invested in the plot. The story is fairly forgettable, with dialogue that ranges from okay to pretty goofy. And yes, the first boss is actually named Greg. But hey, maybe that's part of the fun. When it comes to mission structure, you'll find a mix of linear missions and some more open patrol zones, where you can roam around and tackle different objectives. Think of it like a blend of Warframe's linear missions and Destiny's patrol areas. You'll be doing the usual, chasing quest markers, mowing down enemy hordes, and occasionally defending points or grabbing items. It's familiar territory for online shooters, but it works. One thing that keeps the experience lively is the speed. Missions are fast, especially when playing with friends, and the whole setup encourages cooperative play, which is where I had the most fun. You're not forced into public lobbies, so if you want to go solo or team up privately, you have that option too. Of course, no looter shooter is complete without bosses, and here we get something cool, Colossus battles. These are huge, sci-fi monsters with weak points you can target, and they're the game's answer to Monster Hunter's epic fights. These Colossus battles are a standout. They're dynamic, challenging, and genuinely fun, especially with a full team. There's even a grappling hook that lets you zip around, adding a bit of that monster hunting thrill. In terms of progression, you're rewarded with loot constantly. But it's mostly a DPS game. You're always just going for the strongest weapon or armor you have access to. Blueprints and other resources are critical for unlocking new descendants, and there's a lot of grinding involved. The blueprint system might feel familiar to Warframe players, but here you don't need to wait days for your new character, only a few hours, which is better but still a bit of a wait. So, is the First Descendant worth jumping into? Well, it's visually impressive, action-packed, and engaging in short bursts, especially if you're into cooperative looter shooters. However, the heavy free-to-play model may be a downside for some players, and the story isn't going to blow you away. But if you're looking for a beautiful, fast-paced shooter to play with friends, the First Descendant offers an exciting, accessible experience. Let us know if you're excited about this new release, or if you're sticking with old favorites like Warframe. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time on Before You Buy.